Welcome everyone to Dish It Out. No, sorry. Design Your Life.
Well, it is Dish It
Sorry.
Out with Amy, Women of Work with Jacki. We're together
Yes.
on Design Your Life podcast.
Yes, yes. And we are with our friend here, Dr. Cynthia Almonacy. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about our emotional and mental and spiritual and physical health, and that is important in the woman's arena, and some of the things that we're going to be talking today. And Dr. Cynthia, you are a clinical psychologist, right?
Well, I have a doctoral degree in counseling psychology.
Yeah. She has a degree in counseling psychology and all that other good stuff. There have been many times where I've called Dr. Cynthia up and said, "What am I doing wrong? What is going on?"
We all
And
need that person.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has been through the thick and thin since we've been 20
Over
years old.
20. Over 20. Yeah, when you were like 19.
Yeah,
You
when I
turned,
was 19.
yeah,
Oh,
you were 20, you turned
wow.
21. 21. We were going to turn 21. I met you at 20.
I didn't even know the history. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've known each other for
Wow.
quite some time. So we've been through it all, huh?
Yes, you have.
Well, it is so awesome to have you here, Dr. Cynthia. I am looking forward to hearing all of your wisdom and everything that you want to share with us today. So, Amy, do you have questions you want to start with, or do we want to just kind of ask Dr. Cynthia to give us a little bit of her background or any details, or how do we want to?
Yeah. Um, how about we uh how about you give us a little bit of your background and what you do,
Okay.
Dr.
All right. So I have a long history of working in human services for like almost 20 years. Well, for over 20 years, I should say. And which gives me a really good way of looking at mental illness, not only in individual, but also within family, and kids also in foster home, group home, and working in that perspective of like, how do we help human being in general? Like, whether or not you are in the system, whether or not you're in the family, a care or adoption, foster care, whatever it is, how do we help human being? And that's where my calling was today. Actually, I was thinking about that. I said, I'm so glad that you called me to do what I'm doing, because I wasn't supposed to be in mental health. I wanted to be a doctor, pediatrician, and all my schooling was geared towards that. And also one day I attended a retreat where that's when I met Amy. And then I saw exactly the brokenness of the people around me, like the youth. And so and then it got to the working on me at that moment. But then after a few retreats, and I was going home, and I see them crying going home, and God said to me, "I want you to be calm." And I'm thinking, I want you to take care of my people. I'm thinking, oh, I need to be a youth. I mean, I need to be in youth ministry. That's what I thought that I needed to be, because I'm here. I'm like, because I'm doing retreats. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a youth minister. And then so when I went and talked to the people at the college, and then where I was a one semester away to graduate, like I said, yeah, you cannot change your whole routine to start over again to do that. Once you just graduate and then go into counseling, and then at that point you can decide whatever you want to do. And I'm glad for the wisdom of that. I listened to it, and then I was able to graduate. And then the rest is history, from taking a bachelor degree, and then get a master's degree in education, counseling psychology, and also advanced degree, and finally a doctoral degree. And today, and for some reason today, I was thanking the Lord how much I love what I do, and how much He trusted me to take care of His people mentally, and to be able to see clients and talk to people. I was so grateful today that He chose me to be able to do that. I say I'm not feeling worthy of it, but I enjoy what I do. So it's so funny that asked me to talk about my background. And full circle for me today, out of nowhere today, I was driving to go to something, and I was so thankful that God chose me to be in that position, to be able to help people. I'm glad I'm not a pediatrician, because God see my value and worth more than what I'm doing, and I thank Him for choosing me, for doing what I'm doing. So that, in a nutshell, that's me. And right now I have a full private practice, that I see people usually back to back, and Monday through Friday. On Monday, I work with the military people from the military family, and it's not even my practice. It's a different company that I work for that actually they get a lot of military families. And on Monday, I'm at home working. That's what I'm doing today. That's what I was able to fit you today based on the scheduling. And I do that because I want to give back to my country in some ways, because a lot of time the health insurance that they don't have the ability to be able to see counselors that takes those. So we work with that company, allows me to do that, to be able to see them on Monday. I focus on me, and it's Tuesday to Friday. It's for my own practice where I see people. And I work with people who have anxiety, depression, anger. I do Christian counseling. People who have also a lot of trauma. I do a lot of trauma work with that. I do career coaching, life coaching, in terms of like, that's not what brings them to me, but like someone say like, you know what, I don't know, I don't have any direction for my life right now. I don't know what I need to do. I feel like complacent, like any kind of like thing that has to do with something like that, they come looking for direction. And so, and before you know it, it's more than just that, you know, we're touching other stuff as well. So yeah, so I basically, I mean, depression, I mentioned that, stress as well, people with stress, children as well, do work with children. I do a lot of family work, family counseling. I have a lot of couple that comes to me for work. I enjoy doing couple work, also family work as well, especially the couple, because I always tell the couple that you are the foundation of your family. Like if you're not doing well, if you're ill, your foundation's ill, your children's gonna suffer. And so I always try to like really kind of have them ground into their relationship. So I enjoy doing couple work, which will stabilize the family unit. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do, and I enjoy it.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Incredibly inspiring. I'm sitting here listening to you going, oh my goodness, my heart. Like, I love all of this that you're saying so much, because I think we probably can relate to, Amy, like just the desire to serve his people. I love the way you put that. That is so beautiful. You know, it resonated with me. So thank you for sharing that. I loved hearing it. And wow, you're incredibly gifted and all that you do. I mean, you just basically covered everything. So.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right.
I don't do anything.
Oh, there's so much to delve into here. Oh my goodness. So where do we start, Amy?
I think we can start first by kind of addressing this. How do we become this new woman, the new person in Christ, with all of the negativity, you know, all that we are dealing with as women today, not just in the home front, but also as working women outside of the home. So we have that, and then we have the responsibility to just kind of keep up with everything in the home and now also outside work. And all of this balancing is exhausting. So what part of the new woman, this do we, where do we need to skill up as far as, or what do you see, I guess, in women just, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like this, all right. So this new woman, she's trying to do all of these things. How does she manage her mind? Thank you. That's what I was trying to get to. How does she manage her mind?
All the stuff that's going around her, you mean?
Yeah.
You know, and this funny you asked that. I had like one time pre-live with one lady who also was doing many different tasks. And she was a mother, several children, young children. We're not talking about teenagers, younger children. And she was so many, and in fact, she was a writer. She has her own thing she was doing. It was so many things she was doing, and asking her like what, and then she was also into sports, doing different things like that to keep herself healthy. And I asked her, how do you manage all this stuff? How consistent can you be in still being the mother, being a Christian, being, you know, still have a relationship with Christ, and then able to still manage to be a wife, a mother, and all the stuff that you need to do outside of that. And I think that it's a good question that you're asking, Amy. It's probably that fine balance where everything flows right. And I always tell people, you start with prayer, no matter what. Find that moment in time where, if you know, like, and I see you do that, Amy, where you get up early before everybody else get up, and then where you spend that time by yourself, and that's centering yourself into like, how I want to spend my day today, and preparing myself for what might comes your way. And I usually start my day with prayer. I start with prayer first, and I go to daily mass before I do anything else. That's what I do first. I get up, pray, you know, I do the divine office, pray, you know, and with the Bible a little bit, and then just go to mass after that. I come back and I'm okay, now I'm ready to basically start my day. And that's an opportunity to allow Christ to really work in me and say, you know, whatever it is that you need to do, the day is going to be like whatever they're going to be, life's going to happen. But I know if I focus Christ at all time in front of me, Christ will give me what I need. And it's not gonna be perfect, you know what I mean? Because we're not perfect people. But I think he wants that consistency to rely on him, that he's gonna take care of us during those moments. And so finding that fine balance is always having Christ in the middle of all that, and he will show you the way. And that's what I've been trying to work on myself this land, and trying to completely trust and surrender 100%, because I have a crazy schedule. And I'm like, I don't know I'm going to make this today, Lord. I'm like, well, you're going to have to work it out for me. Like, I talked to him to Father today. I'm like, oh, this is the crazy schedule that if I even get to you by 3 o'clock, my schedule is going to move around so many times to be there for 3. And shifting around. And I'm like, okay, God, like, this is what needs to happen. Like, how are you going to work this in our favor? And then it kind of show me the way along the way. And like I said, like, I think it's that trust and complete trust and surrender, and knowing that whatever you hear the Lord saying, you do it. Not knowing it's going to be right or not, but you just listen to that voice God telling you to do it. And that's what's going to help you manage everything around you, because on our own, we cannot do it. We just cannot do it. But I think if we put Christ at the center of every step we take, like that, I like that phrase in the Bible that said, Lord, order my steps.
Yeah.
Order my steps, Lord, every day. And that's what I do. I had to pray about that when I go to church. In the morning, I say, God, I don't know what's going to come my way. Bless the work that I do. I pray with everybody. So what I do, my clients, everything that I'm touched today, you bless them. And let your will be done. I ask a lady to intercede for me, Said Joseph. I'm asking everybody. I'm like, pray for me. I need help. I can't do it my own. And because I know for a fact, like when the people comes in, I don't know the people as much as God knows those people. He created them. He put them on this earth. And everything else that goes, it flows into. So if you have every different schedule, even your children, God knows your children better than you do. So if you know it's something that you're going to be dealing with your children, you know what, God? I'm order my steps today when it comes to talking to my child or to my husband or anything. Order my steps today and let me hear you and how you direct those steps for me so I can do your will in that. Like, you'll be there for me in what I need to say, what I need to do. So I'm doing your will at all time. And so that's the graces that we need, is grace that we need to do that. And I pray for that every day. Again, life is not perfect. We're going to fall short. But at this, if we make that sincere prayer, and God will see us and can give us the grace needed to do that. So if you look at a schedule, crazy schedule like that, I would say put that God in every part of that schedule. And I turn that schedule to. And I remember a friend from a priest of mine, Amy knows that priest, it was Father Randall. Father Randall used to say, like, no matter how crazy your schedule is, you put God first and see how your day turn around differently when you put God first before everything else. See how you manage your schedule. Because it's managed my schedule. I said, guys, you manage my finances. Do I need to do that? Like, can I buy this? Can I go on this trip, Lord? Because who manage my finances? You tell me. And then he talks to me. And I'm like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. No, I cannot do that. You don't want me to do that? I won't do that. So I think it's having the Lord to order your step. I'm learning more and more to surrender that, because I have a hard time surrendering, because I like to think I can be control of things, right? We all think we can be in control of things. We want to be able to tell Lord. But I think if we able to trust and surrender, Lord, that we can allow you to be that. It's an ongoing process. And for me, anyways, it's an ongoing journey and process that we're gonna keep doing until we die, because we're never gonna really fully, completely get that until we keep asking the Lord to take over. And so that's why I would say to all that stuff, that's crazy schedule, ask the Lord to order your step for you, to be present along the way and put him first in the beginning of that day, and see how he works your schedule for you. Because he does it for me all the time, because my schedule goes crazy all the time. So hopefully I answered the questions. It was a long answer. But
You did.
I love that.
There was something in there I had caught on to, is when you had said consistency. And that's one of the things that, we teach in the women's school is discipline. The discipline, the desire fuels the discipline of your life and how that is ordered. And it's interesting that you said consistency, because I remember there was this one particular time that I was kind of going through this rough patch back in Florida. And I was like, oh, Dana, I just don't feel like going to adoration right now. And, he said something very profoundly beautiful to me. He's like, Amy, our Lord doesn't want the feelings. He wants the fidelity. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. That would hit right in the heart. But it's so true. It's that consistency. Right. Regardless of if you're feeling like crap in the morning, if you're feeling, because what are they? They're fickle.
Yeah.
They're just feelings. That there's nothing going to happen. If you're angry, it's not like the walls are going to come crashing down on you. Literally. Right. That doesn't happen. If you're sad or frustrated, again, nothing happens other than just being sad or frustrated, right? And it's to get curious about those particular feelings that are happening in our lives. And again, they can be tools to use towards our highest and best self during those moments. Like, okay, one of the things that I had really recently realized that I was frustrated with something, and I was like, well, why am I frustrated? And I got curious about it, and I was like, oh, well, it's teaching me that I love deeply, and
Mm,
that there is a reason why this frustration is because, yeah, I was a little disappointed. Okay, well, why am I disappointed? Like those constant questionings, those feelings are like, also the inviting of those feelings. Like it's okay to invite the feeling of frustration. Like again, nothing's going to happen if you invite it and say, okay, well, why are you doing this? Well, or you can thank your feelings, like, wow, thank you so much because you're trying to protect me. Isn't that a wonderful thing?
mm,
Right? Our feelings try to do that. Ourselves, we try to protect ourselves from certain things and getting like, oh wow, that that's that reason why I'm feeling this way is because I'm trying to protect myself.
mm,
And that's a beautiful thing to recognize in who we are, is that awareness, and which is leveled by that discipline, and fueled by desire for our best and highest self. So that's all I wanted to say.
No, add to what you just said. I'm gonna add to that to what you just said about the feelings, and they are fleeting, and because we are obviously we are, because of always just sin, we're gonna have those feelings, and God knows that. But I think what I tell when it comes to mental health piece, obviously you can surrender the anger or things to God, but also I know we know it's not easy to do. So what I usually tell myself, I say, and I tell people too when I work with them, I said, if you're gonna be angry, give yourself a time for you to be angry. Don't be angry
Mhm.
forever, because that would turn into resentment, and then that would like really not be okay for you, because then into like you don't want to forgive, you don't want to talk to the person. I said to yourself, if someone really makes you upset, I say give yourself, what will I work for you? Okay, for half an hour I'm gonna be angry, and after that I'm gonna be done. I'm not gonna think about it anymore. I'm not gonna be
That's
angry anymore. So you allow
mhm.
yourself to be angry for half an hour. You measure how angry you're gonna be, which could be the time you take to take space from that person and to calm yourself down. I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes to be angry, to go over what just happened, to allow it to for me to process it. And after that, after that 30 minutes over, I'm gonna be moving on from that, and I'm gonna continue with my daily activities. Because I'm not gonna let that anger consume me and take over my daily activity. Because you know what? Anger is fleeting. It's not gonna last forever. But the only reason it will last forever if you choose to make that last forever. I know people I work with right now, I'm working with, they hold on to, they will even admit it to me, because I told them, I said, this is what's happening. You're not going to be healed until you let that go, that anger. That happened years ago, and you're still holding someone hostage of that. But the person don't even know you hold them hostage of that, what they did
mm.
to you. I was like, how healing you going to be? And I had someone who finally, maybe like 5 years of doing trauma work with her, and she finally, and every time challenge her to look at it. Finally, when she finally let go of that, and she was able to find that she wants to be healthy, but you can be healthy if you hold it on all that. When she finally were able to let go of that, and it was like a light bulb. It was, oh my goodness, I feel good. I feel healthy now. Wow, thank you so much. I'm like, well, I wasn't stopping you from being healthy. You were stopping yourself from being healthy. The moment she let
Mhm.
go, and she automatically feel that release, and that pain is gone, that energy that she was seeking, like to feel
Mm.
healthy and whole, just all came flashing at her. And she was thanking me like ferociously. And I was like, it wasn't me. The whole time I was leading you there, but you were stopping yourself. A lot of people stop themselves from being healed because of the way they choose to look at the situation. So if you're going to be upset about something, I say limit it to how long you're going to be upset about it. Because then
Mm.
when you don't, we know someone who's going to try to make you keep bringing it to you over and over again, and make you stay there. That's why we have the sacraments, because if you need to go to confession for something like that, or receive all that, so you can actually get yourself back on track, so you can minimize how long you stay angry, upset with someone, because then it just eat at you. It's almost like a poison. It's like just eat at you. Before you know it,
Yeah,
it's keep eating at you. So that's why I tell
yeah.
people, don't hold on to that, because minimize how long you'll be upset, and then move on from that.
I love that
Yes.
you said that. So I would love to know, what are some of your tips for someone who is feeling like those feelings and they're struggling to let go of them, because I find that that tends to be, a lot of what, like, women in relationships and friendships and things like that, that's one of the struggle areas that I see a lot, is just, how do you come to a place of peace when someone has hurt you so much? Do you have like some tips that you would give to people in that situation?
Yeah, I'm going to take away from the mental health piece for a minute and just go back to sacraments. Because
Mhm.
the reason why I said this, because you can, if you see yourself all the time holding that, it's okay to keep saying to the Lord, you know what, Lord, I don't want to feel this way, but I
Mhm.
keep feeling this way. I'm still hurt by that person. Because the Lord knows it's okay to feel hurt because he's been hurt himself. Every emotions that we've been through, he's been through them. So it's not like he doesn't understand that you're going to have those emotions. It's whether or not you're willing to ask him to help you with those emotions. You want to
Mhm.
go to confession every week about the same thing. So, Lord, I'm still struggling with that. And then, also I found out really good. And again, from the mental health piece, I'm going to walk away from that for a minute and go back to what the church is. Do for example, if you know that person, do something you pray for that person. I find it so healing. Every day, I want to pray for you. I want to pray for that person every single day and find the graces coming to you for you to let go. Because you're not so much about, because the person is that person. They're going to do whatever they want to do. You cannot change that person, but you can pray for that person. Not only that release you of your own anger, frustration with that person, but also it could benefit the person for them to find their own healing, whatever's causing them to hurt people along the way. I find all the time it's praying for that person, do something that I know that's going to benefit that person, like almsgiving. Like if I know that person might need something, I might just do it. You don't have to be close to anybody who hurt you. I'm not saying like be best friend with anyone who hurt you in any way, because sometimes you need to protect yourself too from that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean you could pray for them or do anything from a distance that could benefit them if you can do that. But praying for them and going to confession for you to not hold on to that anger was meant toward them, it's so much healing. It's even better healing. The confession is so much better healing than coming to see me. You know what I mean? Because God's doing that skill. That's doing that stuff, not me.
No, I
Because
was
Yeah, that's beautiful.
um
I
there
think, and that's one of the hardest things to do, is to pray for someone who has hurt you. And, I find that, like, in my experience, you know the Bible versus what God is telling you through his word, but the actual implementation can be extremely difficult,
yeah,
especially, if it's a really deep hurt. But I love, just that when you said praying for someone, can actually like help you also, like, I just really feel that so strongly, because I think that that's where I've learned to let go of a lot of the hurt and anger that I have towards others, is asking, what is God asking of me in this situation, what does God want from me, and just kind of focusing more so on what he needs me to learn. Because like you said, you can't change other people, you can't change their behaviors, you can't, and sometimes they're not even aware that they've hurt us deep,
hmm
because it's not something that would hurt them deeply, whatever that action may have been, or the behavior or whatever. So thank you, I love hearing that. So I think it's good to repeat it too, like sometimes we need to hear those things again, because we might be so focused on other things that we forget, and that's such a deeply healing spiritual process to go through.
yes, it is. And because I've done it myself too. And it's like I say, it's not easy because you're sitting there, you're like, Lord, really? Like that's what I have to go to get my own. But then you say, you know what? I'm just gonna pray for that person. And then the more you pray for that person, and the less you feel like that resentment with that person, that anger, the person, that hurt, it's lessened. It's lessened to the point now there's nothing there. And God gave you
yeah,
that. God knows you need that time to feel that pain because He knows you're hurt. He knows that we're not perfect. Because God did
yeah,
feel pain in a sense where, like, when He cried, when He see the people the way they were handled, He cried in the agony of the garden. Like, He feels pain. So He understands our pain for sure. We can never say He doesn't understand our pain or hurt and everything else. So He felt them too. So He knows that it's gonna take time, but then He knows the only way for us to be able to get past those is the graces that we can receive through the sacraments, praying and asking them, Lord, I need you. But to be able to get that help, you have to come to Him.
Yeah.
Help, I
yeah,
need you. And then that's it.
Amen.
yes, yeah.
Beautiful.
One of the things that came into my mind was a quick story of my own experience with that type of healing. And Cynthia knows the backstory between my own father and I. We didn't have a relationship, and it had died long before my dad had physically died. So I remember, during this time after his death that I was like, trying to pray for forgiveness, trying to pray for forgiveness. And I was like, oh gosh, no. It wasn't until about 2 years ago, and it was April 2nd, because that's my dad's birthday. I was going through my journal and I was like, oh, it's April 2nd. Oh, it's my dad. It would have been my dad's 80th birthday or something of that nature. And I was like, well, and in my journal, I always write gratitude, so that was my gratitude. I'm thankful for my dad and oh my goodness, did the floodgates open. I just started tears just pouring down my face. Because for me, the key to unlock my own forgiveness wasn't forgiveness itself, it was gratitude.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that's what helped me escape out of this cage of holding him hostage. As
Yeah.
Cynthia said, you hold that person hostage. It was gratitude, because without my dad, I would have never have met my husband. Without my husband, I would have never had my children.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
the overwhelming sense. I called my mom and I'm like, that's sorry, man.
Yeah.
All crazy and silly. And, I'm 48 years old then. And, just realizing how important forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is for your freedom,
Correct.
Mhm. Yeah.
right? So that, I think you hit it right on the head there, is that, we're praying for that person. We're forgiving that person for the sake of our own soul.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Beautiful.
Amazing, because forgive me, Mom, for sharing this, but one of the things that like I found in that same regard was at Mass one Ash Wednesday, and my mom and I had had a fight. We weren't speaking to each other. And I remember the priest saying, talking about forgiveness. And he said something, and, maybe this isn't liturgically correct or something that we would encourage a lot, but like in the moment, this was like truly God speaking to me. And he said something to the effect of fake it till you make it. Like just start telling yourself that you forgive that person and just keep telling yourself and praying about it and everything else, and that God will give you that grace to eventually actually feel that forgiveness and that healing. And I started bawling during, the middle of Mass and everything. And I was just like, oh, like I have to like pretend at least. And I did, like I called my mom on the way home and just, we made up, and it was just that beautiful moment where I was like, I wasn't really feeling that forgiveness. I was still angry. I was still holding on to all of the, all those years, like every little negative thought that could come into my head about, well, she does this to me and she does that to me. And in that moment, I was just, all I heard was honor your mother and father. You don't
Mm.
have to like everything that they do. You don't have to, take the toxicity, but in honoring her, I have to be able to forgive her myself, because that's healing me. And that's also helping others to see, I can forgive you. I can find that healing. So maybe that person can also find that healing and forgiveness, because maybe there's a reason that they're holding on to something that causes them to also like disconnect from you. So much beauty in the Lord and everything that he does for us. It's just,
Mhm.
and the people that come to us, who speak to us in those moments and share, what we need to hear from him. I love hearing that, because Cynthia, I feel like you're saying that to us today. You're giving us a lot of that wisdom that we need to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And another thing too, piggybacking on the idea of the feeling of forgiveness, and
Mhm.
just like the feeling of love, we don't always feel love towards,
Yeah.
our spouse or our children or our friends.
Mhm.
And that's the same with forgiveness. We don't have to feel forgiveness in order to give forgiveness.
Mm.
It's a choice that we make. And if that thought comes back into your mind, you're like, wait, nope, I chose to forgive that.
Yeah.
That's in Jesus's hands for the sake of my own soul, you know. So
Yeah. And how hard is that, you know? Like, it really can be difficult sometimes, but I love grace. Like, grace is the most important.
Grace is it.
I use that word so much in my family, you know, like, hey, God gave us the grace. Let's give each other the grace, you know, like, we're not perfect. We don't remember everything, even as parents. Like, it's humbling to know, yeah, my child might forget to do all of these chores that I've assigned to them, but how often am I scrolling through my phone, not doing what I should be doing? So doesn't that kind of fall back on me? What kind of an example am I
I know
setting?
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, is there anyone who isn't going to raise their hand in guilt at, you know, sometime in our lives? And of course, we can't be perfect. We can't always be working and doing everything. We do need relaxation and downtime, but not, you know, consistently throughout the day am I doing what I should be doing. So, yeah. So where are we
Oh,
going next?
this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out here and discussing with us. I loved because that is so important that our health, which is the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual well-being of who we are,
Yeah,
um,
Mhm.
and the
agreed.
woman that
And I
that is
love
coming.
that you combine that so well, Cynthia. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Amy,
No,
but
that's okay.
you
That's
you
fine.
combine all of those so beautifully, and I
Okay.
really honor you for that. Like, thank you so much for sharing that gift with us today.
But thank you
And
for having me. Like I said, I didn't know it was gonna work, but Amy told me, and I thought it was gonna be. Tammy thought it was gonna be tomorrow, and I was like, "What?" I'm freaking out.
I know. I was like, ooh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I really
Yeah,
heard
so
you say that God ordered your day, and I went, yes, because it's beautiful. You know, like normally 3 o'clock, I'm free. Well, it's Eastern time, obviously not for you, Amy, but
mhm.
so yeah, I'm glad it worked out today so that we could all
Yeah,
get
the
together
Lord
and
did the
talk.
steps. The Lord did the
Yeah.
step for sure today because He wanted me to be on there because otherwise, like, I could have had it 3 o'clock today. Like I said, on Monday I work for the military, and so when I was looking at my whole schedule, I'm going away on a training this Friday. If you could wait for that for me for 5 days intensive training. So I was like, Amy, I'm like really tight book, but I have this time around that time. If it works for you, we can do it. This happens to be the time that it works for you.
Yes, that is
Yay.
beautiful. I am so
Uh,
glad it worked out. It was beautiful to talk to you.
Thank you.
Cynthia, where can people find you if they would like to um, just check you out, maybe look for your services? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I have a website on Facebook that's called Dr. Almonacy Counseling. It's on Facebook, and it kind of will connect you directly to Psychology Today, where they can also a full profile of what I actually provide in terms of services. So they can find me on Psychology Today by Googling my name, or they could go on Dr. Almonacy Counseling on Facebook, and there's a whole in the website will Facebook will take you to Psychology Today. They connect together to that point, or they could do Psychology Today, and they'll find me looking for my name, and they find me on there, and there's a whole profile about me, what I do, and everything. It gives you a way to contact me and everything like that, so people can contact me that way as well.
And that's Dr. Almonacy Counseling, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And we'll
On
put a
Facebook,
link.
I believe.
Yeah, we'll put a link in our subject,
Our
whatever we do.
description, yeah, whatever it's
Description.
called.
There we go. Thank you.
We're not technologically challenged or anything, but you know,
Yeah.
that place below where I have all the information about our podcast, it'll be in there.
Yeah,
So
so we'll link your information there as well as when we announce our podcast too. But so thank you so much for coming out
yes, thank
today
you.
Thank
and
you so much for
talking.
having me, and talk to you ladies soon. Thank you so much.
Yes,
All
look forward
right.
to it. Take
Okay.
care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.